Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I'm going to share with you a series of 5 cards on how you can use vellum and incorporate it into your projects. This was my January card class, and I thought I'd just share with all of you what one of my card classes kind of look like. We'll kind of all play together. So today's we're going to explore how you can use vellum to create punched out, light and airy images. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is to create our frame inside of here. And what we're going to do is take a layering piece of Coastal Cabana cut at 4 and 5 1/4, and we're going to cut out the center using the labels collection. So I'm here at the Big Shot, and I happen to have the magnetic platform, so I'm going to use that. Otherwise, you can use your normal platform and probably use a Post-it note to keep it into place. I'm going to line up where I want my labels collection framelit positioned. Make our acrylic sandwich as normal. Run it through our Big Shot. And we have our window created. On our card, I took the Fancy Fan embossing folder to make the texture on our piece of Whisper White cardstock that's going to be layered behind it. And this is cut at approximately a 4x3. And we're going to use again the Big Shot and the embossing folder. And I liked the pattern of the Fancy Fans to go this orientation. So you want to put your cardstock so that the 4-inch side, the long side, is facing in that direction. At least that's me. That's how I liked it. Okay. And we'll go ahead and run that through the Big Shot. Oops. Using the platform that comes with your Big Shot. And I have it opened up on tab 2. Okay, so we have that. And what I suggested to the girls at card class was to go ahead and emboss our little frame on the Coastal Cabana color 2. I just really thought that it would add even more interest to the card. My sample here does not show it embossed, but on ours we're going to go ahead and do so. Just always seems to pop the project a little bit. And I'm using Perfect Polka Dot embossing folder. We'll just sandwich that in the folder and make our acrylic sandwich and run it through again. So now we're going to have a layering card piece that's going to look like that. It's going to be so pretty. So we can go ahead and put our framed layering together. And I have Tombow multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to turn the frame upside down and apply the adhesive around the frame. And I'll take my Fancy Fan embossed piece and line it up along the window. Doesn't matter if it's straight on the back, nobody's going to see it. It's more important to get the fans going in the right direction. And now we can layer this onto our card base. It's a standard card base. I've got Whisper White cut at 5.5 by 8.5. Folded and burnished with my bone folder to make a crisp corner. So fold in half and make sure you get a nice crisp edge on it. Not corner, an edge. You guys knew what I meant. Okay, so now that's our card base. So now let's make the star of the card, and that's our little embossed and colored butterfly. I just have some scrap cardstock here so that we can better see the vellum. Just get a little scrap piece of vellum, and we're using the butterfly from the Papillion Potpourri stamp set. It's a stamp set that coordinates with the Elegant Butterfly punches, or punch, as well as the Bitty Butterfly punch. And I took the Versamark and put it on our image and stamp the vellum. And it's not very exciting because it blends right in with the translucency of the vellum. And I put my embossing powder into some, like Tupperware to-go containers, just so that I can resprinkle them easily. So I'm going to put some white embossing powder on our image, and using the heat tool will activate the embossing powder. I have it on the highest setting. Stampin' Up's heat tool does come in two settings, a low and a high. And when the embossing powder activates, it changes color. So hopefully that picks up on camera. And once it's completely embossed, or heat embossed and dried, you have that. And how you can know is, like, you can always put your hand over it, and if anything smears, you know the image wasn't dry, and you'd have to redo it. Okay, so let's go on to the next step. To apply color around our embossed image, I used our standard ink pads and the blender pen to color the image. Now you can do these, you can color using markers as well. I just have the ink pads, and so you can definitely use your ink pads if you don't have the marker color. And what you saw me do is I squeezed the stamp pad while it was closed, and again I'm using Coastal Cabana, and it adds ink to the lid of it. And that's perfect. It gives us a little painter's palette to use. And I'll just make sure that my blender pen is starting good. You might notice that there's a little bit of color on that. It's stained. It's okay as long as you wipe it clean. It'll be great. So with the blender pen, I'm going to pick up some of our ink, and I'm coloring over that white embossed image on our Versamark. Or not on Versamark, but on our vellum. Too many V's. And I'm not staying in the lines at all because I am going to come through here and punch the image. If you don't have the coordinating punches, you can always hand trim this. Punching just makes it go faster and I guess maybe a little crisper edge to it. So I'm coloring and getting the saturation on here as much as I want. And that looks good. Alrighty, so now we'll punch out our ink. Kind of get our ink out of the road here. Oh, and to clean your blender pens, just grab a napkin and clean it until the water or the blender pen runs dry on or clear on your napkin, and then it's cleaned and ready to go for your next use. So I have the Elegant Butterfly punch that matches the stamp set that coordinates with it. We'll line up our image, our embossed vellum image, and punch. Just that super easy. I've got some mini glue dots. That's going to keep our butterfly in place. I'm going to go ahead and fold it and grab a mini glue dot off of it. And we'll put our colored little vellum butterfly right in the center. So sweet. Oh my gosh. I just think this card is so cute. To finish off our card now, we need a little sentiment and some little extra doodads. I've got some basic jewels here. And this was a tip at Card Class. I thought this was brilliant. You can use the polka dot embossed as your guides to put your pearls on. So they line up perfectly. Love that. Thank you, Joni. That was a great tip that you found. I'm using my paper piercing tool to take the you know, they're sticky on the side. So cute. Just such a happy, feel-good card, isn't it? I'm going to use the sentiments from Petite Pears, and I love this combination of the So Many Smiles Begin With You. So that's what we're going to use on our card for our sentiment. And, oops, get the right one here. And get out our Coastal Cabana again, and this time we're using it as the ink, not as, you know, we're not going to use it as a palette. So Many Smiles, put it on a piece of scrap Whisper White, and using the 1 1/4 inch scallop punch, we'll come in here and we'll punch out our image. And with our Stampin' Dimensionals foam dots, put that on up here in the corner. And the last stamp or step is we're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment inside. So on the Petite Pears stamp set, you know, you have a sentiment that you could use on the inside, and then one that could coordinate on the inside, or the outside and then the inside. So there's our first card in a series of 5 with using vellum. This is a technique of using, you know, a punch to coordinate punching out your images. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.